I want you to meet Rachel. She is a 36-year-old nonprofit director. She is struggling with always putting others first, leaving no time for her own goals. She has a goal to prioritize her health and start working out, but she always sacrifices it for work or family. Raise your hand if you are Rachel. I feel like she is all millennial moms at this point in life. All millennial career-driven moms. This is such a common theme for people who come to my channel because honestly, we are all feeling that disconnect between what we thought life was supposed to look like, what we desired for our life to look like, and what it actually is right now. And we're wondering how we can marry the two together. How can we make it work so that we can still prioritize some of the things that we always desired for ourselves while also living in the reality that life is busy. Things get crazy. The way we envision things isn't always perfectly how they're going to pan out. But that doesn't mean that we have to completely abandon our goals altogether. So what I'm going to go through today is Rachel's current work situation, her family dynamics, her current commitments, what progress she's made on her goal, and then we're going to make a roadmap for her that you can also follow as well if you resonate with Rachel's story to really create success for her in this goal that she has while maintaining the life that she has and without burnout. And if it sounds too good to be true, I'm going to challenge you to stick around because I promise you it's going to be worth it. Let's get into it. The first question I always ask my clients is, are you working currently and how many hours per week? Rachel answers this by saying, yes, I work full-time as a project manager for a nonprofit. Technically, it's 40 hours a week, but I tend to go over because I have a hard time shutting off and I always want to make sure everyone's happy. My boss, my team, the board. So it often turns into more like 45 to 50 hours, especially when I'm covering for someone or taking on just one more thing. And I'm going to say she's probably, especially if she's salaried, which I didn't ask her that because that's not really relevant to what I do here. But if she's salaried, she's probably working even more than that and just doesn't realize it, especially if she's answering text messages, answering emails, having calls before, after hours. It probably goes way beyond the 45 to 50. The next question I asked is, do you have a family and what is your family structure / dynamic? Rachel is married with 2 kids, ages 6 and 9. She says, my husband works long hours too, so a lot of the household logistics fall on me. I handle most of the school communications, appointments, activities, birthday parties. The mental load is non-stop. My parents live nearby and I help them out occasionally too. Groceries, tech stuff, errands. It's not constant, but it's one more layer of being there for everyone. If this is not the most millennial overachiever / mom thing I have ever heard, I mean, I think this is so common because many of us are people pleasers. We just want everyone to be happy. We want to be able to prove our worth based on how we can serve other people. I already know that you, Rachel, love serving people because you work for a nonprofit organization. But when it comes to the household logistics falling on me, I would encourage you to ask, does it have to fall on you, or are you afraid to ask for help? I'm going to leave that there. The third question I asked her was, what other commitments do you have on a regular basis? She says, I volunteer at my kids' school because I couldn't say no. I also organize a monthly community event at our church and manage a group text for a mom's group that somehow turned into Rachel handles everything. I'm also the default person who brings meals when someone's sick. I set up the sign-up genius and remember birthdays. Girl, we have got... I'm sorry. We have got to get this overcommitting thing under control. You are doing so much, and I applaud your hustle. I mean, the ability to handle the amount of work that you're doing, and for a nonprofit organization, which I know means there's a lot of things that fall on you that maybe don't exactly fall in your job description, but then also dealing with all of the household logistics, helping your parents out, and then also managing so many social community situations as well. No wonder you don't have any time for you and your health. So the first thing I need you to do is to start being honest with yourself. You said that you have a community event at your church. Is there someone else that can at least take the lead on this or that can split the duty with you, if you could even gain 50 to 75% more of your time back from that, how much would that make a difference for you? And is there someone else who is willing or able to step up and do that event? If no one else is stepping up to do that event, I would encourage you to ask yourself, and there's no right or wrong answer to these things, but how much is this truly serving you? How much is it serving the community? And how much is it serving its purpose? If this is a passion of yours, this specific event and in the way that it's put on, and you want to continue owning it and having responsibility over it, I'm not going to tell you to let that go, because if it's bringing you joy, if it's making you feel like you have purpose and it helps you get out your passion, completely understandable, and I would never tell you to take that away from yourself. But if it feels like more of a burden than a blessing in your life, what are the ways that you can delegate this event to someone else to manage? Or can we let the event go? Moving to the group text, I'm going to insert a script right here that you can send to this group if you need help in how to communicate this to them in a way that doesn't feel like you're attacking anyone or blaming anyone, because the problem isn't necessarily that the other women aren't stepping up to the plate, although it may be, but the problem here is that you aren't setting the boundaries. They may be better at setting boundaries than you in these types of situations, or some of this may not be as important to them as it is to you, or it may not even be that important to you, but you just don't want to look like the bad one in the group or the irresponsible one, so you're just doing extra and overtime. And so it's causing you to look like, oh, Rachel's got it all together. She can handle everything. Like, we don't need to worry about it because she's so good at this. They probably think that you love it, but you need to be honest with them and let them know that this is weighing on you and it's starting to become too much for you to handle. I promise someone will either pick up the slack, or it's going to be apparent to you that this group doesn't care as much about the things that you are facilitating. And if that's the case, then that doesn't sound like a very supportive group. It doesn't sound like something that you really need to be a part of. You give back and you help in so many areas. And if people cannot recognize that for you, then you at least need to advocate for yourself. And then hopefully you're around a group of supportive people who are going to understand and then take on the load that you are attempting to alleviate yourself from. And I know you're probably feeling so much anxiety about even thinking about sending this message or having this conversation with these people, but participating less or delegating more does not mean that you don't care. It does not mean that you are not invested in these areas. It just means that you are acknowledging that there are other places and people, especially yourself, that needs more attention. Being a participant is enough. Your presence, the help that you can provide without stretching yourself too thin, is enough. And if you need to watch this video, at least this part of the video, a bajillion times until you believe that, please, by all means. Okay, next I asked her, have you made any progress to the goal so far? She says, I've tried to focus on my health so many times, but nothing sticks. I'll have a good week where I meal prep and go on walks, but it falls apart the moment someone needs something. I always put my needs second, even when I'm totally wiped. I've started programs and never finished them. I bought planners, signed up for challenges, even joined a gym I never go to. I know what to do, I just don't follow through. I have to tell you, Rachel, that it's not your follow through that's the problem. It's your prioritization that's the problem. The first thing you need to do is prioritize more effectively. And I do not mean this to insult you, because I'm sure you are an amazing planner and you have a really good way of prioritizing things in your work life, in your family life, but you aren't including yourself as part of this equation. So looking at everything you have going on, everything you have, your to-dos, your commitments, your group chats, start categorizing them. I want you to brain dump them all. Brain dump everything that you can possibly think of. And then we're going to categorize them into 3 different buckets. 1 is do, 1 is delay, and 1 is delete/delegate. So The do column is going to be anything that is super immediate, has to be done, cannot be taken off of your plate. The delay column is what can you postpone or put on the back burner for a while. And then the delete/delegate pile is anything that you can take off of your plate and ask someone else to do. Whew. When I look at everything that you have going on, the school communications, the appointments, the activities, birthday parties, that sounds like at least some of that could be delegated to your husband. I would highly recommend having a conversation about how you can both support each other in sharing the household logistics. The community event, also a delegate item. I think that's something that you could really ask the community to come together and everybody share a part or a piece of that event that can really help you be a little bit more hands off. And then the group text is either a delete or a delegate item. Have someone else take the load or have a rotation of who does what when or what weeks are handled by what person. And then your goal definitely needs to be in the do column. Anything else, you fill in the blanks, just brain dump everything that you have going on out. This could be one-time things or ongoing tasks or responsibilities that you have, but put them into these 3 buckets. Again, that was do, delay, delete/delegate. And that is going to get you to start to see a clearer picture of how much you're actually juggling and how you can start to alleviate some of the weight that is on your shoulders right now and make space for what you're really wanting, which is to prioritize your health. There's also a free PDF download of the full process for taking you from this overwhelmed place to be able to take action and start working towards your goal down in the description. So if you are watching this and you're like, I want to do this exercise too for my life, that sounds like it would be really helpful, go grab that free PDF. It is such a game changer. Next on this point is you need to be scheduling your workouts on your calendar. You just have to. When we say we're going to prioritize things like going to the gym or getting a workout in, meal prepping, but we don't actually schedule it as something that we have to do based on what our calendar is telling us every single day. We put it into this category of when I have free time. When I have free time, then I'll go to the gym. When I have free time, then I will meal prep. It doesn't work that way. It does not help our brains when we put it into this free time bucket, because inevitably once we have free time, once we're able to relax, we don't want to meal prep. We don't want to go to the gym. It's like, this is my free time. Now I want to rebel. I'm going to relax. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to do the things that make me feel like I'm resting because I've been so freaking busy. I don't want to go to the gym today. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. So the first thing I want you to start doing is putting this on your calendar as an invite to yourself that you have something to do today. And if you want to do it in the morning so that you can't make excuses, do it in the morning. If you want to do it for your lunch hour, do it for your lunch hour, because maybe you have a lot to get to after the end of the day. But don't categorize your desires, your goals under free time, because that's not where it belongs unless free time is your goal. So a few things that you could ask yourself in order to schedule this and prioritize it effectively is, what day will you plan your meals? What days or day will you work out? Look at your current priorities, the events that you have going on, the plans that you have. And once you have moved some things around and cleared out some of the things that no longer need to be on your plate, where now can you fit in this workout? Where now can you fit in meal planning? Choose a time of day that's going to be best for you. Decide what feels sustainable for you, even if it's just one intentional block of 10 minutes of movement a week. That's more than what you're getting right now. So be okay with starting small, because those small steps will add up and it will start to make the change. Also, for your meal plans, AI has been a total game changer with things like this. Let ChatGPT know what your situation is. Hey, listen, I'm 36 years old. I've got 2 kids, 6 and 9. I've got a husband. I don't have a lot of time. I don't want to get a ton of groceries. I want this to be easy for me, and I want it to be something that my kids enjoy. What is a meal plan for the next 30 days? I need breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me and my family. and you will be amazed at what ChatGPT comes up with for you. And then doing that 1 month at a time, you can go to a Costco and bulk order things so that you're not spending so much time regularly on needing to go to the grocery store, or you're not spending so much time trying to figure out what meals you're going to make. You can also do a day of like freezing meals where you just make a bunch of meals and then you freeze them, and then that way you can just take them out. You can have your husband take them out. It makes it easier for you on the back end. Okay, we're almost at the part where we make the roadmap, but I just want the biggest reminder and mental note that you take away from this to be that this is a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to be perfect tomorrow. You don't have to get it all right tomorrow. The goal doesn't have to be accomplished in 24 hours. Let yourself ease into this. Slow, sustainable changes make a huge difference. Remind yourself that change is a process and allow yourself to enjoy that process. Slow down. Be gentle with yourself. The more you continue to stay consistent with these small changes, the more you will be able to see how prioritizing yourself really makes a positive impact on everything around you. Your work, your kids, your husband, your community, and of course, yourself. Okay, the last question that I asked Rachel is, if you had to guess, what would you say is the biggest hindrance in making time for your goal? She says, honestly, guilt. I feel guilty putting myself first. There's always something more important or someone who needs something. And when I do finally have a minute to myself, I'm so drained. I just want to lay on the couch and scroll. Oh my gosh, I called it. It's not that I don't care. I care deeply. I just want to feel stronger, sleep better, and actually have energy again. I'm stuck in this loop of doing everything for everyone else and putting myself last. My main health goals are establishing a regular workout routine, prep simple, nourishing meals, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, have more energy and mental clarity, and feel like me again. First of all, Rachel, thank you so much for sharing all of that level of detail with me. That was really, really helpful. And I have a great idea of what your expectations are and what your goal is for yourself. I'm proud of you. You've got this. And I know that you are going to get there, especially with this roadmap. And before we get into that, I just want to have a little therapy session with you. I am not a therapist. I'm not a licensed therapist, so don't come for me. But I want to talk about the deeper work that needs to be done here, because the roadmap is the practical, which you are already good at. You manage so many different things. You've probably already come up with plans for yourself and for making this work for you multiple times. But if we don't make the internal changes first, the beliefs that you have, your thoughts, your fears, you will continue to find yourself in the exact same place over and over and over again. So some of the options that I would start with to really start to uncover what's going on internally, deep inside of your brain and your subconscious, is journaling. I would start by journaling on fears. So what am I afraid will happen if I say no? What am I afraid people will say about me if I prioritize myself over them? What could I gain by saying no to others and saying yes to myself instead? What could others gain if I said no to them and yes to myself? What good things might happen for me, my kids, my marriage, and my friendships if I start putting myself first? These are really powerful questions. If you give yourself 20 minutes to just brainstorm or brain dump how you feel when those questions are asked to you, I guarantee you a lot will come out that you didn't expect or that you didn't know was kind of lingering inside of you. You can do this on a piece of paper and actually write it. You could do it on a Google Doc or an electronic document. You could also voice note it. If you do better with verbalizing instead of writing, you can totally voice note the answers to yourself too. It works just the same. And then if you don't like this stuff to kind of just exist or be laying around, feel free to burn or delete whatever if you're not comfortable keeping a record of it. You don't need to keep it around. Another really amazing, life-changing tool is emotional freedom technique, EFT. Some people also refer to it as tapping, but it's such an amazing tool that truly allows you to transform the negative emotions that you are feeling. So if you get a text asking you to do one more thing and you are like, I really can't do this anymore, but I can't say no either. Using EFT to tap on these different meridians on the body to clear the emotion is so helpful. There's so many resources out there of how to do EFT, how it impacts the nervous system, the emotional responses, and I'm telling you, it has really changed my life. I know it would help you too. It helps so much with anxiety and feeling like a bad person or feeling like people are going to hate you, or wondering, how could you possibly still be good enough and not just be helping people all the time? How could you still be worthy? Oh my gosh. Chef's kiss. And then one more tool that I have for you, Rachel, or anyone else who's resonating with this is start by saying, let me think about it. If saying no or setting boundaries feels like way too big of a stretch right now, start by saying, let me think about it. If someone asks you to do something, instead of immediately yes, pause and say, I'm going to think about that. Let me get back to you. Give yourself a moment to process. And then if you have to do EFT or journal a little bit around it for a little while to get yourself comfortable with eventually saying no, do that. I have had to use multiple tools kind of combined in order to get me to the point where I was comfortable enough saying no or not taking something on. But it takes time. Give yourself that grace period of, you know what? I'm not comfortable saying no right off the bat. I'm not comfortable communicating exactly how I'm feeling right now, but I think I could say, let me get back to you, or a version of it, right? So put those 3 little tools in your toolbox, 3 little big tools, very, very impactful tools in your toolbox, and pull those out when you are feeling particularly worried, anxious, guilty, all of that. You have to stop looking at taking care of yourself as selfish. I know it's easier said than done, but this is so important for you. I know it's going to take some time for you to truly embody and believe this, that it's not selfish for you to give to yourself, but you feeling strong, having more energy, sleeping better, it's only going to make you a better version of you, which makes you a better mom, a better wife, a better worker, a better friend, a better community member. You are operating in survival mode almost all of the time. So no one is getting your best self right now. We have to decondition ourselves from what we were taught that it means to be selfish. Prioritizing your health is not selfish. Taking a 2-year vacation and abandoning your family and never looking back again that's selfish. That's selfish. All you are doing is optimizing your chances at living longer, being more active, and having more energy for the things that you love and care about in your life. That is not selfish. All right, let's get into the monthly plan. The first thing we always do once we have a goal is plan out our milestones. So the milestones that I am going to recommend for you is number 1, prioritize. Do that prioritization exercise where you brain dump everything and then categorize them. The next milestone is that I want you to start getting more sleep. I don't even want us to focus so much on the workouts at this point. I need you to have more energy and have a more quality sleep so that when you wake up, you are more vibrant and you have more energy, more brain space to make decisions that are best for you. A couple of ways that you could do this is by starting a wind down routine, or you could even, if you want to start incorporating movement immediately, you could do yoga, like nighttime yoga or bedtime yoga, and that could count as one of your workouts for the week, but it's also helping you calm down your nervous system, lower your stress levels before bed, and then you're going to sleep so much better if you have something like that. A wind down routine does the same thing, but it just helps you to prepare your brain for bedtime. The more you do a wind down routine, the more your brain is going to know when it's time to shut off and go to bed. If you get into bed and you're still on your phone answering emails, basically doing a lot of brain activity, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to go to sleep. and it's going to be difficult for your brain to shut off once you are sleeping already. It's still going to be thinking about everything else that you were doing right before you went to bed. My recommendations for nighttime routine would be either doing some yoga before bed, or even just simply reading a book, having a cup of tea, putting the phone away, intentionally giving yourself space to quiet the noise that's going on in your brain. The next milestone would be journaling or EFT, starting to create a practice of both of those things. Then start saying, let me think about it. Another one would be using ChatGPT to meal plan one time per month for the month ahead. The next one is going to be deciding on your workouts and the days that you're going to work out. And then the last one is going to be doing 2 workouts per week. So we're working our way to the 2 workouts per week. And if you want to add more to this afterwards to work up to the 3 workouts per week, I think that's totally fine. But doing all of this incrementally is really, really important. Okay, the next thing we want to do with each of these milestones is put a take action by date next to them. So the prioritization piece, I want you to do the prioritization within a week of this coming out, of you getting this video. So feel free to adjust these dates if you watch this later. But I would say by 5/11, having that prioritization, categorization exercise done is going to be really good. And then the wind down routine, I'm going to give you a week to decide on that one too. I don't want to overwhelm you. So I'm going to give you until the 18th, 5/18, to decide on what your nightly wind down routine looks like. And then maybe that Sunday on the 18th, that can be your first day of trying it out to prepare for work. The next day on Monday, trying to get really good sleep that first night, and then continuing that forward. So the journaling and EFT, I want to give you 2 to 3 weeks to kind of play with these things. Whether it's answering the journal prompts or practicing EFT, you could do a combination of both back and forth. I want to give you about, let's say, 2 weeks to really play with these things. So if I were you, there's a take action by 6/1, but throughout those 2 weeks from 5/18 to 6/1, I want you to start to incorporate this. And actually, a really great way to incorporate this daily is as part of your wind down routine. Maybe part of your wind down routine is journaling. Maybe part of your wind down routine is doing some EFT. That could help you couple those 2 together and really start working that into your daily situation. And that could be your entire routine. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Just even journaling on one question once a night is starting to incorporate a nighttime routine, is starting to get your body to wind down. It's starting to get out some of the thoughts from your head. EFT is really going to help with that too. So I would say that would probably be how I would approach that, but you can do that however often feels good to you. Okay, start saying, let me think about it. Hopefully by June 1st, you will have done some or all of the journal prompts. You will have started using EFT, and you will feel a little bit more confident in saying, let me think about it, rather than just immediately going to your habit of, yep, I'll do it. No worries. I'll take care of it. So around June 1st, we want to start practicing saying, let me think about it. Let's give this an entire month. So from June to July 1st, we're going to practice saying, let me think about it. But during this same time, we're going to be doing some other things. So by June 1st, we have done a lot with our prioritization. We've cleared a lot of the things that we need to clear off of our plate. We've established a really solid wind down schedule. We've started journaling and practicing EFT. We've started saying, let me think about it. And now we're ready to start pivoting towards adding in some of our health stuff. First thing we're going to do for the month of June, we're going to plan our meals. You can plan them out by yourself, or you can use ChatGPT. Don't really care, but plan for 30 days ahead. June 1st is a Sunday. You let me know what works for you, but I would say either on the 30th or 31st of May, you could do your meal plan, and then that way you're ready to implement it for all the weeks of June. So I'm going to say by May 31st, get your meal plan set and then follow it through June. By the end of June, I want us to decide on our workouts. If you want to push yourself, you can. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to be there to stop you. But I would encourage you to please follow these dates. I'm choosing them for a reason. I know it feels like this is what I want now. I want to do this now. I want the workouts to come first. Please trust me in the fact that you are in a position right now where you're not doing anything. So if we take the next 2 months and only make changes to sleep, our mental clarity and beliefs, and then start implementing meal planning, you are going to be set up for so much success once the physical activity part of this comes in. You're going to be a lot less resistant. It's going to feel a lot easier to incorporate that as part of your schedule, as part of your routine. So if you push yourself, don't come back to me saying, it didn't work, Tony. Your plan didn't work. Take it slow, okay? So by 7/1, we want to decide on our workouts. Once July hits, then you can start doing whatever you decide. If you start with 2 workouts a week, fine. If you start with 1 a week, fine. But on 7/1, that's when we need to decide what our workouts are going to be, how often we're going to have them, and where we're going to do them. Have that all decided by 7/1. And then I want you to consistently be doing the 2 workouts per week, the nighttime routine, and the meal planning for 60 days. All of July, all of August, and then by September 1, I want you to do a review. I want you to consider where you're at. So this is about a 4-month plan right here. We're not planning too far in the future, but we're giving you enough space and time to really ease into this. Half of these are just, one-time things that you have to make a decision on or do an activity on. Let yourself actually ease into those and do those things. The last thing that I do with my clients when I'm looking at the milestones that they have and what it's going to take in order for them to achieve the goal that they are working towards is building supportive habits. If we know that your goal is to get more sleep, to have more energy, to start working out multiple times a week, I think the habits that we need to build around this first start with our sleep. Having good sleep is going to impact everything else that happens during our day. It's going to impact how we feel when we wake up or how early we wake up. It's going to impact how you feel throughout your day. It's going to impact your decision making and your ability to make quick decisions or the right decisions based on what you need, not just how you feel in a particular moment. I really think the supportive habit that we need to build goes along with our milestone of a wind down routine. Building a habit of a daily wind down routine is going to be so key for you. And that is the only habit that I'm going to tell you to start with. I think the other things are going to fall in place. And once you get to the 2 workouts per week, from there, the habit is going to be having a habit of working out. So either having a habit of taking a walk, having a habit of going to the gym, having a habit of doing daily yoga during your nighttime routine. It's going to be specific to what the workouts are that you choose, but make it something that you can repeat. Make it as simple as possible. If you work out 2 times a week, do it on the same days every single week. If you work out 2 times a week, do it at the same place every single week, at least until you get into the flow of working out twice a week. Once you get into that flow, then start to change it up, but make it as easy for you to show up as possible and to keep doing it and to keep consistent during the first 30 to 60 days. Okay, that is what I have for us today. Hopefully this was really helpful. Rachel, I am wishing you the best of luck, and everyone else who has resonated with this message, I am truly rooting for you as well. If you have a specific goal in mind that you are like, I want this kind of breakdown done for my goal, please hit the link below in the description to sign up to be a participant in the case studies. And then if you get chosen, I will break down your goal as well. And then you will also get the roadmap sent to you directly. As I mentioned earlier in this video, there is a free resource for shifting from overwhelm into action, also linked down below in the description. It is so beneficial. It walks you through a complete brain dump of everything you've got going on. It walks you through categorizing everything into the different buckets. It helps you go through this 5-minute method of taking action and starting to build momentum. And then it gives you instructions on how to take everything to the next level. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, all of the links to find these resources are linked down below in the description. I thank you so much for being here today. I am wishing you well on your week ahead. And until next time, take care.